Welcome to the Brain Alpha. Today, in this explainer, we're breaking down the neuroscience behind why changing your life feels so incredibly difficult, and how you can finally hack your brain's automated systems to achieve your goals. If you've ever felt like you're just stuck in a rut, repeating the exact same mistakes, or failing to make those New Year's resolutions stick for more than, a few days, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to look at some fascinating science that explains exactly why your brain fights change so hard, and more importantly, the specific loophole you can use to bypass all that resistance. So let's dive right in.
Let me ask you something, and think about this for a second. What is the very first thing you think about when you wake up? If you're like most people, you probably wake up dreading work, complaining about your packed schedule, or immediately reaching for your phone to check social media out of pure, unfiltered habit. You open your eyes, and instantly the weight of your everyday life just comes crashing down on you. I have that annoying meeting today, or, man, my bank account is looking rough. Literally, before your feet even touch the floor, your brain has already booted up the exact same operating system it ran yesterday.
Section 1. The Groundhog Day Trap.
When you start your morning reacting to the exact same triggers in the exact same way, you are essentially making today a direct, uninspired copy of yesterday. And existing in that continuous loop has a very real physical effect. Think about old media, right? Like a CD or a cassette tape. The more you play it, the more it wears out. The memory fades, gets scratched, the audio quality drops. But the human brain operates in the exact opposite way. Unlike old CDs or tapes, human neural pathways actually get thicker, stronger, and more unyielding every single time you repeat a negative thought or action. Every time you wake up and complain, you're basically pouring wet concrete on that neural pathway, making it even harder to break out of that thought pattern tomorrow. Section 2. Slaves to the environment.
Dr. Joe Dispenza, a world-renowned expert in neuroscience, explains that repeating these daily reactions turns us into absolute slaves to our current environment. And this brilliantly illustrates why we misunderstand ourselves so often. We tend to think of our negative traits or our lack of success as permanent. We say things like, well, I'm just a pessimistic person, or I just have a short temper, it's my personality. But according to the fascinating research we're unpacking, your so-called personality is really just a reinforced mental habit. It's not a fixed, unchangeable genetic trait. It is simply a set of neural pathways you fired so many times that they've become completely automatic. And the incredibly good news here is that because it's just a habit, it is entirely possible to rewrite it.
Section 3. The 95% automation. So if it's possible to rewrite it, why does it feel so impossibly hard? Why do we give up on our goals after just a couple of days? Well, the reason it's so exhausting to change is that by the time you're an adult, a staggering 95% of who you are, your thoughts, your reactions, your emotions, is run by a completely automated subconscious mental program. 95%. Conscious thought requires a ton of fuel, so to save energy, your brain automates as much as possible, pushing daily reactions straight into the subconscious. That means for the vast majority of your day, you are essentially asleep at the wheel. You're operating on autopilot, driven by habits you formed years ago. So when you decide, I'm going to be positive today, or I'm going to completely change my life, you are using that tiny 5% slice of conscious willpower. You're pitting that little 5% against a massive 95% behemoth of automated, deeply ingrained subconscious programming. And what's worse, your body actually becomes deeply addicted to the familiar chemical reactions of your daily struggles. It literally prefers the comfort of known unhappiness over the unknown effort of success. Their body actually craves the stress, the complaining, the misery, just because it's familiar. It's quite literally a chemical addiction to an emotional state. Section 4. Hacking the brain's bug. So the absolutely crucial point here is, how on earth do you beat a system where the odds are 95-5 against you? Willpower alone is clearly not going to cut it. You have to exploit the brain's ultimate system bug to win. And let's test this glitch right now. I want you to imagine biting into a sour, juicy lemon. Really picture the bright yellow skin. Imagine cutting it open, the juice dripping down. Now imagine taking a huge bite right out of the center, feeling that intensely sour, acidic juice hitting your tongue. If you really picture biting into that sour lemon right now, your mouth naturally starts to water. You actually physically respond, proving exactly how this cognitive bug works. There is no lemon, but your body reacted as if there was. And this is your secret weapon. The brain cannot distinguish between a real physical reality and a vividly imagined reality. If you imagine something with enough intense detail and emotion, your brain fires the exact same neural circuits as if it were actually happening. You can literally trick your brain into rewiring itself simply by vividly imagining a new reality with intense emotional focus. You can pre-program the success pathways before the success even happens in the physical world. How crazy is that?
Section 5. Your new morning routine.
To finally break out of that Groundhog Day loop, you have to strategically hijack your automated programming the exact moment you open your eyes. The morning is critical because your brainwaves are transitioning, making your subconscious highly receptive. Remember this awesome quote from Dr. Joe Dispenza? True change is thinking greater than your environment. Before you check your empty bank account, look at your messy room, or dwell on your stressful job, you must immediately force yourself to think greater than your immediate environment. You cannot let your external world dictate your internal state. You've got to create the internal state first, completely independent of what's happening around you.
So here is the exact playbook to do this. The process is simple, but it is challenging. Step 1, wake up. Step 2, completely ignore your current limiting reality. Do not let your environment trigger you. Step 3, powerfully visualize how the successful version of you acts. How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they handle a super stressful email? Picture it with absolute vivid detail. And step 4, relentlessly hold that feeling all day. You have to mentally rehearse the new you until your brain genuinely believes this is who you are now. Now, I have to give you a fair warning here. When you start doing this, your brain is going to fight back hard. At first, your automated brain will scream at you. It'll make you feel foolish, deeply uncomfortable, and just full of imposter syndrome. It's going to tell you, what are you doing? You aren't successful. Stop acting weird. Look, this is just the old 95% program resisting being rewritten. You absolutely have to push through that resistance. Do not let that feeling of awkwardness stop you. To truly lock this in, you need to follow this formula. True transformation requires both intense emotional reality during your visualization and relentless daily consistency so your brain eventually accepts this successful identity as the absolute truth. You can't just do this for 2 days and expect a miracle. You have to repeat the emotional rehearsal every single day until the new neural pathway becomes thicker and stronger than the old one. Once the brain and body align with this new reality, your external world will inevitably begin to change to match it. So the choice is entirely yours. Every single morning, you face this exact question. Will you repeat a copy of yesterday, letting your automated environment pull the strings? Or will you exploit the glitch, step into the unknown, and mentally rehearse a new tomorrow? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.